So let's move on to the next question, guys. In this question, we are given that the number of antelopes in a certain herd increases every year at a constant rate. So the number of antelopes in a herd is increasing at a constant rate. There are 500 antelopes in the herd today. So today there are 500 antelopes present, right? If the herd were to grow in number at twice its current rate, if herd were to grow at twice its current rate, there would be 980 antelopes in 2 years, right? Okay. So we have to find out in how many years will the number of antelopes double at the original rate, and we have to compare that answer with 4, right? So simple question, let's go step by step. So let's assume the original rate, let's assume that the original rate is equals to r. Let's suppose the original rate is r, right? Now what the question is saying that today there are 500 antelopes, right? What does today mean? Original current rate. So that means p is equals to 500. You remember the formula? The formula was f is equals to p1 plus r upon n to the power nt, right? So p means the principal or the original amount. So p is 500, right? Because today there are 500 antelopes present at the rate of r, right? So if herd were to grow twice its current rate, so if the rate becomes 2 times the current rate, that means the new rate, which is r, that becomes 2r. Now for example, the new rate, which is capital R, that becomes twice the original rate. Original rate is small r, so it becomes 2r, right? Or you can just write as 2r, right? There would be 980 antelopes in 2 years. So in 2 years, the number of antelopes would become 980. That means the final would be 980, right? And the time will be how much? 2 years. I hope this is kind of pretty simple. What is this saying? That in 2 years, the final thing would become 980 at the rate of twice the current rate. So these things should be very clear. And this is the original term, right? And obviously we know that n is 1 in this case. So if n is not given, we assume n to be 1. For example, compounded quarterly, compounded annually. If something like this is not given, we assume n to be 1, right? Okay. So now let's put down the values, right? So what is f? F is 980 is equals to, what is p? P is 500. 1 plus, what is r? R becomes 2r, right? To the power n is 1. And what is t? T is 2. So this becomes one important formula, derivation, whatever you can say, what result. So this is one result that we have got, right? Okay. Now tell me one thing, we have to calculate in how many years will it double at the original rate. So now according to this, we know that the final will be 2 times of p. If p is the original amount, the final should be 2p because we are talking about double, right? We don't know what t is. We have to find out t in how many years, right? So now if we use the formula and r remains same at the current rate, original rate is r, right? So r remains r. So if we put this formula now, so f becomes 2p is equals to, p remains p, right? This will become what? 1 plus r to the power t. I hope this should be clear, right? So p and p cancels. So 1 plus r to the power t is equals to 2. So this becomes another result that we have got. I hope this should be clear, right? I hope there should not be any issue in this, right? So now what we have to do is that we have got two equations. We can find out the value of r from here. We can put r and then we will find out the value of t. I hope this should be fine. So let's find out the value of r from there. Right. So tell me one thing. What will r be? So this becomes 980 upon 500, right? Root minus 1 upon 2. This will be the value of r. I hope this should be clear. There should not be any confusion. So 980 upon 500, we take square root on both the sides, then minus 1 this upon 2. This will give us the value of r, right? So now let us calculate this. So you can calculate 98 upon 50 root. So if you calculate the root of 98 upon 50, so 98 divided by 50, root is 1.4, right? So 1.4 minus 1. So 1.4 minus 1 upon 2 is equals to r. So this becomes 0.4 upon 2, 0.2. So r comes out to be 0.2. So this is one important result. You just put the value of 0.2 over here and you will find out 2. So in this case, what we can do is that we can take log on both the sides, right? So this becomes what? This becomes t log of 1 plus r. 1 plus r is how much? 1.2 is equals to log of 2. This is all base 10, by the way. So what is t? T becomes log 2 upon log 1.2. So you can just solve this and you'll get the answer for this. So what will this be? So 2 log is 0.3010. So this comes out to be how much? 0.30 upon, what is log 1.2? 1.2 log is 0.079. 0.079, right? So this comes out to be 0.3 divided by 0.079, approximately 3.8%, right? So this comes out to be approximately 3.8%, and we have to compare it with 4. So obviously 3.8 is less than 4, so your answer becomes B, because this part is greater. So the final answer becomes B. I hope this is clear. First try to understand what we did and then you can focus on solving it. So I hope this should be fine.